Today's post is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I think it's a subject that's very deep and something that could help all of mankind. And many of you know I'm adopted, and my birth mother found me a few years ago. It was very neat to see my reflection, and not long after that I found out that I had a son who I ended up meeting, and he came and played a show with me in Houston. He plays the guitar, and he fishes like I do, and has a lot of the same personality traits that I do. And after I met my birth mother, I got very curious about who my dad was. And all she told me was his name was Mark, and that she thought that he had been killed. But she didn't know. She was only 14 when she had me. So my best friend, Trey Smith, got me a Ancestry.com test, and I took it over Christmas. Just out of curiosity, and a girl in there found me that was a first cousin of mine named Holly, and that led to me actually discovering who my father was. And unfortunately, he was murdered in 1977 in San Antonio, so I'm not going to get to meet him. However, I took the time to write a brother that he had, and I don't know why. It was my instincts. I wanted to do it, and basically I wrote the letter on my stationery. You see, it's got lions on it. I like lions. I always have. Even my envelopes have lions. My guitar picks have lions. My promotional posters for my show have lions. And we actually went to the trouble to take that picture with a real lion with Randy Miller in Redlands, California, and his company, Predators in Action. I'm not really into tarot cards, but I like Carl Jung a lot, and I was reading a book on Jung. It's called Jung and the Tarot, and my tarot card is a maiden petting a lion. Okay? So then I find out that my birth dad's last name was Erdelion. A lot of synchronicity here, and we all know what weird really means. And after I took the time to write his brother, he was really nice, and he wrote me back, and we ended up talking on the phone. He said, I have something I want to send you. It was a cherished possession of your father, and it's also a cherished possession of his father, which would have been my grandfather, who unfortunately I didn't get to meet either. And this is the crazy thing. About 10 years ago, I was at a King Baby trunk show, and King Baby's a jewelry company that makes a lot of jewelry that musicians wear. Like a lot of us in the music business wear his stuff. It's really cool. And I saw this lion ring that he had in Dallas at a trunk show, and it had 2 rubies for eyes and a gold door knocker in his mouth and crusted with diamonds. It was a silver ring, and it just hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks when I saw that thing. And I had to get out of there because it was $3,500, $3,500 for this thing, and I was going to buy it if I didn't leave. So I left, and I went to go eat, and I was about to drive back. I lived in Denton at the time. I was going to drive back to Denton, and like a magnet, I was pushed back to the mall, and I went and bought that ring. And I could never explain it, and I never really wore it that much. It just, I wanted it. It had me written all over it, and just a couple of days ago, my biological father's brother sent me this. A lion ring, and he wore it all the time, and after he passed, it was a prized possession of his father's, and now I have it. And what does this all mean? It means you are. All your answers are inside. You already know who you are, and that is something that I think a lot of us forget. We don't need to look outside for answers. Look, I've always been the way that I am, and when I've tried to change it is when I get in trouble. What I'm saying is you can't outthink your instincts. That's what I am means. You are. You're fine just the way you are. You don't need a psychologist, and you don't need to go outside for answers. Just look inward and celebrate who you are, because there's no other you, and that's the beauty of this whole thing, and one of the great mysteries of the universe is that you are who you are. You're born with everything you ever needed inside of you. That's truly what the kingdom of heaven is inside you, and you do not know it. So, I know it, and I know who I am, and I'm very happy with who I am. So, I encourage you to do the same, and you'll have a great life. Okay, I just wanted to share that story.